What's up, guys? How are the cupcakes this evening? What's up, Frank and Brad and Leighton? And I don't know if Atalanta is here or not right now. But how you guys doing? Can you hear me all right? What's up, Ed? Hey, lady. Barbara, what's up? All right, glad to hear it. Brad says we're all good in the audio department. So today I was playing with the old 40-watt X tool laser. And the thing is kind of a beast, man. Hold on, let me grab it. You're probably not gonna be able to see the engrave very well, but that thing will cut at 13 millimeters a second. I can't remember what the 20-watt did. The 20-watt did like 8 or 9, I think. Was it that high? Anyway, kind of crazy. I had some so I'm trying to what's up, Luis? I'm trying to get you guys one of these cards so you can, because everybody asks me for them all the time. The speed and power grids, and so I was using the place I normally use. I use O2 Creative, I think is what it's called. Let me see real quick what the. Actually, I think I've got it. I think I've got it in here. Hold on. I can have it as a banner. Yeah. So I use these guys, right? And I don't know. So I edit. So let's see. So I was editing upstairs on a computer that's not hooked up to a laser. And I don't know if that had anything to do with it or not. But the files I downloaded from them. What's up, RT? The files I downloaded from them, I brought them over into Lightburn, and they weren't like, I was getting inconsistent stuff down here. And I went in and looked, and the files the information wasn't right on them. Like, instead of going from 10% to 100% power, it started like 30. Anyway, so I don't know what was up with that. So I've got it corrected now. This is pretty much what the sheet's going to look like. It's just going to be like an easy. I can never figure out where to put this, so the camera won't. It tries to track my face. So, but you'll be able to put like the name of your the laser engraver you're using, whatever the material is, and then this is pretty much how it's going to run. But that way, when people are asking me for settings, that's it's kind of the route to go with that. But yeah, I mean, as far as so when I first started doing it, I was doing the engraves, and the engraves were looking really bad because I was having that error with the information wasn't correct. And I was like, wow, this thing is like a potato when it comes to engraving. But if you look, I mean, you get some decent up in here. If I can figure out which one my finger's going, like up in this area right here, those they look pretty decent. So I'm impressed. If you want to do real fine engraving, you wouldn't use a 40-watt. But at first I was like, well, this is, it cuts great, but unless you're only cutting stuff, it's going to be kind of worthless because you can't engrave as well without swapping the heads. But I think you might be able to do it now. What's up, James? Yeah, RT. I was which kind was a good time. I was indisposed. I was in a bout of depression, so I kind of stayed in my room quite a bit. But I did have fun when I was outside of it. What's up, Rick? And Matthew says, let's see, we'll put you up here. He's cutting his 20-watt cuts 3 millimeter basswood at about 5 millimeters per second. So it looks like, I mean, that's birch ply, but 13 millimeters per second, 100%. That's pretty impressive, really. And then I don't know if you guys know. I don't know if you guys saw the short, but I did cut a 2x4.5. Did it take off again? Come here. You over here. Come on. I cut a 2x4.5, and like It looks fine that way, but then like when you get to the back of it, like it kind of got a little crispy. Xtool asked me to take that video down, and I told them no. They thought you guys might be scared of the fire, and I was like, well, anybody that's really like, aside from just seeing if the thing will do it, if you're gonna try to cut 2x4s with a laser, maybe it needs to catch on fire. Matthew, so am I going to share that the test the speed and power deal? Yeah, so that will be hopefully in this video coming up, if I can get it up to where you guys will be able to get to it. But yeah, so and then that way it makes it easier for me to just say like go do this, because downloading other people's files, there may be an issue with them and stuff like that. Not that there might not be issues of mine. But I think I went through it today and I looked it over a couple of different times because I was having that issue, and it does look. I think it's pretty. I think it's pretty spot on. I mean, this if there was an easy way to swap ads. So there is. So with the new gantry that they came out with, I was like, man, if you just made the new D1 Pro kind of obsolete, if you want the 40 watt, I'm gonna be a little pissed. You can swap out the 40 to the 20 and the 10. I don't know if you can swap the 5 out, but they're even suggesting that if you don't have an X tool at all and you want the 40 watt, to don't buy the 20, buy the 10 because it's a little cheaper. And then put the gantry on, but you should be able to swap them out. Yeah, it does flex its power. Well, so I haven't done. I mean, I did this power and speed deal, but I'm gonna do some stuff with like one by material and stuff like that, and see, because from my understanding is it should cut through that pretty easily without a whole lot of without a whole lot of issue. Yeah, Dave, right? He says charcoal, the Xtool charcoal maker. Of course, like again, man, if you're cutting ply over and over and over, I mean, it cuts like butter. I mean, look at that. Like that, this is all the way up to 60% over here. I figured I could have gone on, but it just didn't make any sense, because why not run it? I mean, because I want to be down here. I don't want to be up here. If you really wanted to kind of save your laser a bit, you could always run it at 11 or 10 at like 90 or 80. But I still think you're fine running 100%. What's up, Jim? Hey, Tripod. Everybody just walked in. So I was on Hot Makes the other night on the Hot Makes channel, but it's Jim is the host, and so if you have not checked that out, go check it out. We had a good chat. Just leaves the pigtails on my laser heads. Kobe Schmidt sells 6-inch extensions for the laser wires and the 20-watt power. I just leave the pigtails. Oh, I gotcha. Okay. Sorry, I totally misread that. Yes, Robert. That's what. So originally there was some confusion, and a lot of us thought that once you swap the gantry out, you wouldn't be able to put the other heads on there. But Xtool has confirmed, and I haven't actually physically tried it, but Xtool confirmed that with the new gantry on there, you can take the 40 watt off and you can put the 20 and the 10 on there. So the pin configuration is, instead of having like a full thing of pins, it has the pins for the 20 watt and then a little separate thing of pins for the 40 watt. So you would just leave that one not plugged in and do the rest. I'll be swapping them out tomorrow. So, I mean, if that is not the case, I think Tripod could probably confirm that. But if it's not the case, if you can't swap them out, I will know tomorrow. I would have known today, but I had the problems with the file. and just kind of ran out of time. Frank wants to see the back of the test board. The back of the test board looks like this. Don't mind this stuff up here. That's me messing up. But like, if you look, if this thing will stop for a second, just stop following shit for just a second. Okay. If you look, like some of these almost came through. You know, like actually this one's loose. This one will probably pop out if you wanted it to. And that is with air assist running. Gotta tell you, I have the little X-Tool smoke eater, and it works really good in the enclosure. But I was running it out on the workbench tonight because I want to be able to film it. So I just had that thing kind of tucked underneath the arm of the machine, and it did pretty good until I started cutting, and then it started putting out a lot of smoke. But when it was engraving, it did pretty good to suck that out of there, to suck it out. What's up, Chris? What is only for the pro version? Oh, the swapping out and all that stuff. Yeah, Jim. It's on a honeycomb, air assist. It does look pretty clean. Like I said, it definitely, like, the cuts are good. I'm really curious to do the same engraves on the 20 watt and see how much of a difference we get in detail. Because I think that's where we're gonna run into maybe issues. Like maybe the engrave doesn't look so great because the laser dot is bigger. Laser dot's bigger, and it's also, from my understanding, actually, I guess it's still a rectangle. The 20 watt, when it got bigger, it got bigger in one dimension. It went from 0.1, it went from 0.08 by 0.08 to 0.1 by 0.08. I think it's a lot of zeros. Yeah, exactly. But so my thing with swapping laser heads in the same project is just a time concern, not necessarily that you can't do it. And then my other concern would be just even using absolute coordinates. If you are, I'm sorry, I'm trying to type and talk at the same time. If you're taking the laser head off and putting it back on, depending on what kind of design you're working on, it may or may not shift the machine just a little bit. Yeah, and that's one thing. And tripod's totally right. Like the regular D1, yeah, they're not compatible, which kind of sucks because I saw a couple people in the X-Tool group that were like, "Well, I'm leaving." They've made my laser, like, there's a word for it. I'm losing the word for it. They've made my laser obsolete. That's what it is. In less than a year. And I was like, well, I had to. It is Jim. It is the Ozbot, I think. Hold on. I'm just grabbing a little light here to see it. I'm gonna blind you guys. It's it's the Ozbot, OSBOT. But honestly, from what I've seen, I would still go with the Insta camera. He's asking about my camera that attracts you when you want it to, or when you don't want it to. It's like, now it's not tracking me at all. Oh, it keeps slipping. There we go. That's so funny. Normally, my hand gestures will do it. All right. Well, it's being pissy. Let's see. Um, so tripod, did you? I was not ready for how much this thing moves around on the bench. When I was doing the engraves, when it started getting up to like 600 millimeters per second, like it was scooting. Like one of the issues I had initially was I didn't hold my plywood down on the honeycomb. I just set it there like I normally would, and it would get off, and I'm like, is it hitting something? And what it was shaking the whole thing. Like it would jog back and forth, and it would net around. See, I say I mean, they pay themselves off so quickly. I'm not, I've never been really concerned about, I don't know if, it's always nice to have the brand new thing, but that just gives you something to shoot for too. Yeah, so, well, like, I'll talk about it in my video. I don't know how, if you're already into the actual ecosystem and you have the frame and all this stuff and you don't want to upgrade and you're not really in a place to upgrade to a CO2, then I would say that the 40 watt or the 40 watt is kind of a viable option. But to me, it's like we're borderline dangerous. As I've said uh, many times before. Like it's not that, I mean, my table saw is dangerous. It's a spinning blade in the middle of the room. Uh, but I just I like I feel like people have been kind of cautious with the 5 watts, and then we went to 10, 20, and 40 like super fast. Um, and I don't know. I have a feeling that some people might just like watch the 40, like people used to watch the old 5 watt, and I think you're gonna have a big old headache. I went to Johnson Plastics to get my first lot of acrylic for engraving. Don't know which series to start with for the 20 watt D1. Do you have any experience? If not, where do I get? I get all my acrylic from Houston Acrylic, and it's houstonacrylic.com. I think all of their acrylic is cast, and if it's not all cast, it says cast in the title. But I think they all say cast. I think they all are. You always want to use cast acrylic. I don't know, like series wise, are you talking about thickness, or is there like different kinds that you want to try? Um, with the diode, you're going to be able to cut dark opaque colors except for blue. You can't cut clear. You can't cut anything transparent. And the closer you get to white, the less likely it's going to be able to cut. And that's why, like, you'll see that X Tool, like, just look at the colors that X Tool has, and that's like the ones you want to stick with. They have black, they have green, orange, red. All those colors will cut well. As you get closer to white, you're going to have issues. Who knows? It's just so normally when I'm talking with my hands and it'll do it, but the light turns a different color. And right now, I put my hand up and it turns blue, which means it's supposed to track me, and then it immediately goes back to green. So I have a feeling it's mad at me. Yeah, Ed. Everybody's talking about it, blah blah blah, and no one shows anything. No one shows anything because it's a piece of junk. It's not a piece of junk. It is really, really hard to focus, and it moves really, really, really slow. That's the reason that after after the IR came out, they came out with a different focusing billet for it, because if it's off a little bit, it won't engrave, and it's painfully slow. If you're thinking about the IR, I would wait and see the reviews of the F1 first, or buy something different. I probably need to. I'm just running it like I was just running it like it was the 20, because that's the video is going to be kind of comparing it to the 20. Yeah, Oh yeah. Well, I just didn't realize it was shaking that bad at first. I was like, "Holy crap!" It's like it's migrating across the bench. Take it easy, RG. Um, I don't think I've ever. I used it a little bit. I started playing around with it a little bit, and what was driving me nuts was, um, you really can't use the laser offset with it because it doesn't. You have to be so precise. And like I didn't want to turn that off. I don't know why. I just didn't feel like it. 20% restocking fee. Nice. So Matthew just sent it back. He's got a 20% restocking fee. Um, yeah, I feel like they're going in too many different directions at once. They've got this the CO2 laser coming out. And they asked me if they want to send it to me, and I said no. I'm like, I just don't like it's too much, man. Like I already work with a company that makes a good CO2, and I've seen companies like this. Companies do this like this before, where they start spreading themselves too thin. Like they're like, okay, let's make an IR, and then let's make this, and let's do this. And I don't know anything about these guys, so I don't want to talk bad about them. But sometimes you spread yourself too thin, and then the products that are coming out are not great. Um, and they also like I was talking to them about I'm trying to get a discount for you guys. Um, and they want to go instead of doing like a percentage discount, now they just want to do like $100 off, stuff like that. And I'm like, you guys need to offer something more than that because you've got better machines, or I guess not better machines, you've got comparable machines coming out and they're less expensive. There's are. I think that Xtool has a good ecosystem, and I think like of people, and I think that they have that going for them. But their system is becoming expensive really fast. And then the 40 watt, what's the 40 watt? Another $1,000 to put on your machine. I mean, at that point, aren't you running like a 25? But it's actually like if you have all the bells and whistles, like a 30, like 30, like a $3,000 laser. Okay, so shot glasses. I warning, okay. I bought a bunch of shot glasses because I was gonna do a bunch of different glass engraving things. I could not find a good way to put a shot glass on the rotary, even with the chucks. Um, I'll have to go back and revisit it now because I think I can reprint the chucks on 3D printer, and maybe I can change them a little bit. But um I still have 2 boxes of shot glasses over there because I could never engrave them. You do not necessarily need Enduramark. I like the way Enduramark looks because it's a dark instead of a light. But you can use what do I use? Cold galvanizing compound. You can also use like dish soap and acrylic paint, or not acrylic paint, tempera paint. Um, there's all sorts of different things that you can use to do it, but those engravings are going to turn out white. If you want it to look closer to black, kind of more of a gray color, but it's dark, then you want Enduramark. So, oh, I know what you're talking about. Yeah. Well, I mean, you should be able to ask them if a diode will cut through there, but I have so these. This is similar. They call it engravable plastic, but when I looked up what it actually is it's acrylic. Um, and this is two tone. So the front is red and then the back is white. And when you engrave through the front, you get white. I do these on the CO2, but the only reason I do them on the CO2 is because I do a sheet at a time, and a sheet takes me about 45 minutes on the CO2, where to cut one of these was like 15 minutes on the 20 watt D1. Actually, I take that back. The 10 watt D1. I don't think I've ever done one on the 20 watt. Sup, homie? Who's winning? You should take You should take the CO2 and I'll test. Yeah, yeah, brother. Let me just jump on that. Actually, I'm just running out of space, really. I mean, the thing's huge. And yes, the P2 is over $4,000. And I would never suggest to I would never suggest to buy a Glowforge ever. As a matter of fact, I still need to do my video where I destroy one. But the oh man, who makes it? Somebody just came out. The Omtac came out with the Polar or something, and I mean that's I mean I think that's a solid machine. I haven't tested directly, and then Gweiki or Geiki or Waiki or Wiki or however you pronounce it. They came out with a uh, Glowforge killer. I don't know. Still trying to get it to go. See, it doesn't want to track me. It's mad. Tempera paint, yes. Oh, let's see. Yeah. So that's another thing where I'm like, they came out of they came out of left field with this. See, they contacted me and they told me about the F1. They told me about the F1 first, right? They're like, hey, the F1's coming out. Do you want to test it? And I said, sure, I'll test that. And then the next thing I know they're like, hey, the 40 watts coming out. We want to send you one. And I was like, okay, so send me the 40 watt. I haven't heard anything about the F1 lately. And then like just, a couple weeks ago, actually, well, I guess it's a month or two ago now, they told me that they were coming out with a CO2. And I was like, you guys are all over the place. Yeah, they've been around for a while, but it seems like all of a sudden, I think they got a lot of business from the X tool or the D1 and now they're just going crazy. And I was like, slow it down, man. Slow it down. That's a really good idea, man. I bought an airbrush gun, which is still in a box over there. Never pulled it out, but I was always going to airbrush my stuff. But dipping it is a brilliant idea. I love it. Excuse me. But the puke over here. Just got here. I don't know if you cover this, but what do you think of the D1? Yes, sir. So we were talking about it earlier. This is my test sheet from that today. So we're looking at about 13 millimeters a second for cutting, and this is 3 millimeter birch ply. So far so good. I'm gonna get into. So I'm gonna cut another one of these on the 20 watt. Compare the two, and then I mean we'll cut some other material, like some thickness material and stuff like that to see how that goes. But I think what it's going to boil down to is what is the detail look like in the engraves. Yes, Ed. And the problem is that when you put it in the chuck, the teeth of the chuck stick over and cover part of it, and your laser head will run into them. So it gives you an engrave area of like this much, and it's on the bottom of the glass. So like if this is a shot glass, the chucks go like this, so it gives you this engraving area down here. And I'm not saying it can't be done. That's the problem I ran into. Yeah, I did think about ordering some of those too. I think I got the shot glasses for. I was going to do a rotary video, and then that's when my rotary died. No, no. Yeah, so you can't cut glass with the CO2, but you can engrave glass with the CO2 with no transfer agent or anything. The CO2. So the easiest way to explain it is that CO2 can see clear, whereas a diode cannot see clear. So that's the reason that like a diode or a CO2 will cut clear acrylic, but a diode will just pass right through it. I mean, I don't know. Like I haven't. They were like I said they were going to send me one. I really just don't have the time to review it. I'm in the middle of kind of like revamping the channel. I'm working with I'm working with a company to get some stuff done, and it's taken me away from being like in front of the camera so much. And they got really mad at me because instead of doing a long form video for the 40 watt, I did a short and a live stream, and they said you told us you were going to do a long form video, which I was always planning to do, but anyway, so I just told them I would have to pass on that. Yeah, I mean, it depends on how you look at it. It's so I hate to use the term Chinese laser, but like usually Chinese lasers, especially CO2s, are less expensive than that. Let me just put it that way. The Polar is made by Geikie. I thought, what's the one that Amtech came out with? Because Amtech came out with like one of those. I mean, it looks like a Glowforge. All right, take it easy, Jim. Good to see you, brother. Yes. Nothing now. I'm trying to think what that is. I think it's Elijah Craig. What's up, Light Amp? Laser stimulated engravings. Thank you. Same as I never got. I really kind of wanted to do a video, and I probably still will. Like do all the different ways you can engrave glass. But I really I don't understand how the soap thing works. I understand how the rest of the things work because it creates a barrier that it hits. But I'm like, so anyway, I don't need to explain to me right now. It just like in my head, it doesn't sound like it would work. Too much one time. Yeah, so I have a really cheap airbrush too, but I wanted to get a little bit more expensive one to actually get it on there. Plus, Enduramark, they're well, actually, I think all of their metal marking sprays you can buy it much cheaper in like an airbrush form where you just buy the stuff and you mix it with water. What? Glad to see you address and the more info. Send you something. Okay. All right. But I and then of course, like I did paint tempera paint onto acrylic, clear acrylic, and engraved it. I got a decent result, but I didn't think it was good enough to like show on camera, so I just never made a video about it. Shot glass is too small to do that with. Nope, baby, that's acrylic. And maybe I just need to do that. I also thought about like even like 3D printing or figuring out something that you could stick in the glass and then hold on to that, but I just haven't messed with it yet. Yeah, it doesn't really engrave, which I was kind of bummed out because I wanted to see if I could like deepen it. And it only pretty much works once. So if you run a CO2 over something, I mean, I guess you increase the power and maybe make it, but like doing multiple passes won't make it deeper, which is what I was hoping for. Actually, I thought I tried to get a glass to like explode in there and I couldn't get it to do it. Can't you just grab this? You guys are really working on this deal. Yeah, I mean, like you guys are more than welcome to try this and prove me wrong. I just know that like I tried a gazillion different ways, and like if you turn the chucks around, they don't open wide enough, or I think they don't close far enough to hold on to it. and then the other way, and it gets in the way and all sorts of stuff. Yeah, but if you do it on the rollers, then it's tapered. Oh, that's the Amtech. Yeah, see, so that's what I'm talking about, man. I'm like, you're also, what's up, Dad Cave? Um, they're pricing it crazy too. I mean, like maybe it's better construction. I mean, like there's one thing you can't argue is the construction of the D1 is pretty damn solid. Maybe they're trying to claim on that. I don't know. But yeah, like 4 or 5K or whatever they're charging for that thing. Whew. There you go. Maybe I'll do that. The shotgun says yeah, and so I just haven't revisited it in a while. I was trying to do it when the Chuck Rotary first came out, and it just was not happening. Yeah, I believe it. Yeah, because it's like it just there's little micro shatters in there. That's made my life. Really? I didn't realize that Amtech and Guayki have anything in common. Let's see. I just want to say thank you. Yeah, absolutely, man. That's what I'm here for. Glass cube and lays a 3D thing into it. Oh, you want to engrave something in the middle of it? Yeah, that would be interesting. I still don't know how they do those little 3D things where they like take a picture of you or your kid or whatever, and they make it a 3D image inside of the cube. And then the ring gets in the way of the head of the laser. I'm telling you, I've tried it. Because that ring's got to be tall enough to where the laser head is in the way. With these, actually, with the 20 and the 40, it might not be so big of a deal. Because honestly, I just take my little laser shield off anymore. Because the 20 and the 40, they made it so long that it's so close to the material that if anything buckles up or anything, it immediately catches it. But back in the day, I had my shield on all the time. I don't love making any product for anybody. I make the only thing I really sell on like constant, like on Etsy is my keychains. These guys. And I mean, like I can cut a sheet of them, and like it depends on how. So this one has. So they have a front and a back, and like this one has a. I guess this back, like I have some of them that have a more of a more detailed back, and some of those take a little bit longer to cut, but usually about 45 minutes to an hour to do a sheet of these, and then I laminate them together. So I glue them together and put a keychain on them, and I sell these for like $17. The cost of a sheet of that stuff is like $17. So so they do well, and the overhead is not that much. But it doesn't mean I don't like I liked making the first several hundred that I made. Hey, Dave, thanks, brother. It is ready to get better. The video style is going to get a little bit better. But thank you, I appreciate it. Ideas. has it made for wine glasses and shot glasses. All right, you know what? Somebody do a shot glass and then send me a video of it, and then we'll talk. Then we'll talk. And then we'll go back to Dave and say, "Hey, man, thanks again, brother. I appreciate it. Thanks, thank you." Let's see. So what else? What else we got going, guys? So Workbench Con was pretty cool. I don't know. Workbench Con is kind of I like to go to it because it's geared towards content creators, not just makers. But a lot of people like to go to it at least once to kind of geek out on some of the people that you might meet there. Like Jimmy DeResta was there, April Wilkerson, Brad. What's Brad's name? I was gonna say his name of his channel, and I just lost the name of his channel too. John Malecki was there. That guy Brad, the guy's got a huge channel too. A bunch of those guys. Caleb from You Can Make This Too. So it's kind of a trip to like you're just walking around, and those guys are like hanging out, bullshitting with you. Ben Ueda from Homemade Modern. Me, I was there. Done. No. Let's see. Walmart has black coated shot glass, and I'm dying to try. I'm wondering if it'll work. Like so I went crazy trying to engrave Zippo lighters when I got my CO2, and like I've never had any good success with that. Honestly, I have so not everybody is as fortunate as I am to have like a gigantic CO2 laser sitting behind them. This is that white thing back there is like a 40 by 24 inch bed, 100-watt CO2 laser. So the majority of work I do on that because it's just faster. It's faster to me. It's a little bit more repeatable. I have not gone crazy on the jigs with like an X tool or something like that. But you can absolutely use like the X tool to do all the same stuff. It's just going to take a little bit longer, and eventually your business is going to get to the point where you want like you're going to cap out. You're going to not have any more time to make things right, and at that point in time, you're going to want to start. You're going to want to talk to me, and I'll get you in touch with my people at AP Laser, and they will get you a big honking, thing that takes up a whole bay of your garage. Because you have a huge laser bed and it's so much faster that eventually, like if you want to make a business out of it, that's where you're going to go. But don't get me wrong, you don't have to jump right into a CO2 either. You can get a diode. I say everybody should get a diode because there's certain things that you'll run into with a diode that you'd be really upset, and it's going to be like user error, right? It's going to be your own damn fault. But if you jumped into it and just started doing really expensive large material on a CO2, on a big CO2 like this, you were going to mess something up big and bad, and you're going to be really mad at yourself. So I say make your mistakes with a diode, and then once you get to a CO2, you'll kind of like, oh man, I don't have to do that anymore. Oh man, this is awesome. So just X tool, like the D1 is just going to be, diodes are just going to be slower for the most part. And then you get into kind of what we were talking about tonight, like the 40 watt, like it's going to go faster, but it also has that like big laser head on the top of it, so it tends to like jiggle the machine a little bit. So that could be an issue with going like really fast with a 40-watt laser, whereas the laser in a CO2 is in the back of the machine. Like there's a tube in the back of the machine, and it fires into a mirror and around to wherever the laser head is. So the laser head and the gantry and everything that's moving is much lighter. It is it's 110. I think you can get I think you can get 220. I just this one's 110. And they tell you that you pretty much want to have a dedicated circuit to it for the most part. So even the blower that runs this thing is on a different circuit. And the blower probably pulls a decent amount of power because it's a big 8-inch fan. Is that a question? I hear the pullers are a good machine. I like everything I've seen about it. It looks pretty cool. I can talk about WorkbenchCon all you want. What would you like to know? What they gave y'all in the swag bags? It's like any other conference. Like you'll get some stuff that is kind of cool, and then you get some stuff that's kind of cheesy. And I think that just depends on you. If you give me a second, I'm trying to think where that bag is. It's in here. I set it down. I just can't remember. Give me 1 sec. So I kind of already rooted through it. But like this is a Craig portable crosscuts dealy for your thing, circular saw. I've consolidated it down into the best stuff. Let's see. There's just like some router storage bends. Like Rockler's kind of all over the place with what they give you. I have a ton of, you can just go for the black diamond pigment, man. They give you a ton of that stuff. I have sandpaper and stuff from Klingspor. Koozies. These are cool. These are little flexible scrapers from Total Boat, if you can see that. This is some more sandpaper from Serious Grit. I've never used Serious Grit, but I've heard about them, so I'm kind of really curious to try their stuff. Let's see what else we got. This is some stuff from the CNC Academy, learnyourcnc.com. It's just a kind of an invite type deal. And then, hold on, I got a bunch of stuff at the bottom of this. And then you got people just walking around like offering up, this little level that's got a magnet on the bottom. Somebody gave me a tape measure. There's a guy just walking around passing out tape measures. I'm trying to think what else is in here. Bessie's always there. Bessie always gives you clamps. Oh man, I can't remember who dropped this in there, but this is a little I can't remember what it's called now. Well, they call it a 4-in-1 drill driver, but it'll countersink a hole too. Oh, you can take it all apart, but there's a countersink in here, like a countersink in there, so you can countersink like a hole for a screw. Cutsall gave me a very tiny burr. So it's just a bunch of stuff. There's always a bunch of like carpenter pencils and pens and stickers and stuff in there too. And then let's see, Nathan is asking a question now for something completely different. My friend needs a new mic setup for when he is recording content snack hunting in stores. Any info on that? So does I'm assuming he wants like a wireless mic. I use the Rode Go and the Rode Go 2. I think you just need the Rode Go. The Rode Go 2 has 2 receivers on it. If it's just him, he probably just needs the Rode Go. If they still make the Rode Go, they might just make the Rode Go 2 with 1 receiver too. I'm not sure. But it is it's totally wireless. It's 2 little, like you've probably seen people, I don't have mine down here, but you've probably seen people on YouTube and they have like a little, it's just a little square brick here with a light on it. It's plug and play, man. You can you plug it into your phone. All right, you plug it into your camera, the receiver into your camera, and you can clip the other one on you, and it's like a lav mic, and it's it's fantastic, and the sound quality is amazing. I don't think I said Snickers, but they do give you a ton of um, candy and stuff in your swag bags, but like little like stuff that you could snack on throughout the day because you're in like uh little I want to say conferences, but you're in like little classes all day. And there's some practical classes, so you can go there and like learn how to cast epoxy or like I don't know if they did any turning this year. They did wood turning, or they've done wood turning in the past. Um, and they just do stuff like that. They had a laser one last year. I don't think they had any laser stuff this year. But they had a dude there that was doing like, he was laser engraving in his class. And there's a lot of information. I like to go. So there's always one or two good classes, right? Like there's a lot of classes that are just like, yeah, this is okay, or this class wasn't geared towards me. I would say that that's the majority of it. Like, every once in a while you get like just a not great class, but most of the time, the classes that I have been in that I haven't really gotten a whole lot out of were classes that I I kind of already knew what they were going to talk about. So I already had like that knowledge, so it wasn't like I learned anything new. But we talked about um, there was a whole class on like like what to do with an email list. So if if you're a content creator and you have people that are interested in your stuff, it's always good to kind of like have like a newsletter that goes out to them and stuff like that. And it's something I have like I do capture email addresses, but I've never really sent anything out. And the idea was, hey man, this is a good way to like, not everybody sees all of your stuff, so you might as well send them an email too. um so we talked about that. There was a class on like the best times to post on Instagram and stuff like that, which was really interesting. um and I discovered that the best time for me to post on TikTok is at 9 o'clock at night. Go figure. Everything else is like 10 o'clock Monday morning or something, or Sunday morning, but yeah, 9 o'clock on the old tic tacs. Uh, Discord. Oh, the Discord. Yeah, hold on a sec. Let me grab it. Um, Actually, I'm gonna put it up there, but I don't think you can grab that, so I'm gonna throw it into the comments. Just go away. Doop doop doop. Try that. Because I think when I pop it up on the screen, I don't think you guys can copy that. Um, it's like I said, it's if you're a content creator and you want to like learn all of that stuff, it is definitely worth it. Like I go every year. Um, if you are like if you want to meet some people and network and whatnot, like it's definitely worth going 1 year. I would definitely go 1 year and see if it's your bag or not. Like there's a lot of networking that goes on in the lobby of that hotel after everything else shuts down. Um, there's a lot of people meeting people and hands shaking hands and stuff like that. So I've met a ton of people just in that lobby. They are coming. Like I said, I've really just kind of not been putting out as much content. I've been trying to cover it with the live, so you guys at least see me and we're at least talking about stuff. But uh, I'm doing some work behind the scenes on the channel and trying to get a little bit more quality into the videos. So we'll see where that goes. No need for a CO2 right now. But like I like the Atazzer. The Atazzer, dude. I wish there was a better naming convention for this stuff. Hold on. The P20 Pro. I just it's a solid unit. I when I did review it, the only like there was one thing I really didn't like about it, and it was the laser screen comes way down and it's really hard to see. And somebody told me that you could pop that off, and once I took that off, I love it. When did I get into woodworking? So I grew up. My grandfather was a woodworker, and I grew up in a family of let's just say handy people. Like my brother's an engineer, um, so it was always and then like my parents would they didn't flip houses, but we would buy a house and we would live in it. And sometimes for 5 years or something like that. And usually for like 5 years, or something like that. But they would remodel the entire house while they were there, and they would sell for a profit. Um, and then so it was always my did I say, I'm sorry, a tazzer is a tazzer, right? Now you got me second guessing how to spell it. Hold on. It's over here in the corner. It's just dark. That's right. It's a tezzer. Um, so I really just was. I've always built stuff. But I used to build like shop furniture and stuff like that. If I needed something, I would build it like shelving in a closet or something along those lines. Um, and then I really didn't get into building like building like I guess furniture until probably about 5 or 6 years ago. I already had kind of like the the pre knowledge for that, but I wasn't building stuff like that. Holy crap! Thank you, brother. I appreciate it very much. Um, let's see, Aitzer. Are you trying to say a tezzer? Who asked that? Who asked me about the? Okay, all right, gotcha. Um, tell us about the con. Um, let's see. Who knows? I know, right? It's like who knows? It's hard to pronounce. I'm like, yeah, right. Um, thank you again, Light Amp Laser Stimulated Engravings. I just feel the need to say that every time. Uh, so let's see. So the con normally is very, like I said, it's a very social thing, and you have the day of the con, and then you have the nighttime of the con. And the nighttime of the con, like they've gotten a little smarter, and they've started having um like evening mixers. But it used to, like, the whole thing used to, the con part of it used to shut down about like 6 or 7. It's like you get done with your last class and they might have a mixer for like an hour where like is like free drink or two. And then it would shut down. Well, then everybody would go down in the lobby of the hotel and they sit down there and they drink and they bullshit, and people do giveaways and all sorts of stuff until friggin' midnight. Like it's a big thing. And there, I would say the day before in that lobby, and the day before it starts in that lobby, you kind of meet the workbench con people, the people that really enjoy the con, that come there every year, because we get there the day before so we can kind of hang out. But then every evening is just like, I mean, it's like they have a bar down there, but it just like it's 200 people in the lobby of that hotel. And it's a great time. It's a great time. You get to meet all sorts of like crazy people. I met a guy. This is my favorite thing ever. Um, what's up, Volner? Um, I met a guy named Nick. There's a lot of Nicks there this year. Apparently, you can ask Volner. He'll tell you. But I was sitting there BSing with him, and I said, so what do you do? And he goes, I can put some. Let's see, how do you put it? I can put tits on anything. And I'm like, excuse me. And this guy takes his CNC and he puts tits on anything. And I wish I had a picture of one of the things that he did. But he literally mills like handles for like your saw stop, uh, the thing that moves across. I'm losing all my words right now. Um, and he mills like a piece of wood that just has all these little boobs on it. Hilarious. I would have never known that guy existed had I not gone to Workbench Con. Oh yeah. That might have happened a little bit. Well, we were there one year, and there was the families of a wedding were there, and they were coming out, and they would like yell down at us to shut up. And we got table stop fence. Yes, thank you. We got in trouble for that one. We all know the tit dude. It was just awesome, man. I was like, so what do you do? Put tits on anything. Oh, people crack me up. But yeah, man, I mean, like, you know, you meet people that do different things than you, and it's super interesting. And like going to Workbench Con is what it got me into wanting to do CNC work, which I still don't do a ton of, but it's fascinating. And a lot of people do it there, and it's like you see these things that people are cranking out, and then you get home and can't really do the same thing as them because you're not nearly as good as they are. And you get a little discouraged. At least I did. But yeah, it's a trip, man. It's a good time. We all know the tit dude. I'm still cracking me. I gotta put this up. You don't need to pick. We all know the tit dude. Tit dude. Anyway, yeah, Titty Nick, man. They call him Titty Nick. Anyway, so now that Voltner's here, it's time to go, guys. Now, actually, we've been on for about an hour. Does anybody have any like kind of last minute questions or anything? The next video that I'm going to put out is going to be on the 40 watt. I'm almost positive. If it's not on the 40 watt, it will be on my 3D printer, but I'm pretty sure the way things are going, it's going to be on the 40 watt. So stay tuned for that. It would have we would have filmed some of it today had I not had so much problems with the file. But like I said, the thing is, like once this file is up, you guys will be able to download that for free and use it yourselves if you need to, or if you want to. It's one of those things. All right, guys. I do not see any new questions rolling in, which either means that we froze up or it's time to go. So until next time, guys. Thanks for showing up, Cupcakes, and I appreciate you. Have a good night, and tomorrow make sure to get to work.